Hello everyone, welcome to World Monologue Games. You are watching the endurance category and this is the Sydney region. We have just finished another event here at the Games. We just had a sprint show which was really fantastic. So hi all, my name is Pete Malicki. I'm the creator of the event and your host. Just want to say a few words about the games and then I'll hand over to our performers. So we are a live stream acting event and competition, and we are showcasing 350 performers this year from 51 countries, which we're very excited about. We're running a bunch of events across 6 different categories, and this is endurance. So what that means is it is for monologues which run for 5 to 10 minutes. It's a very challenging feat to perform for up to 10 minutes non-stop. So all the best to the performers tonight. Just a few other bits and pieces. You will get to vote as our audience. You get to vote for the top 2, your 2 favorite performers from the show, and we'll be putting through one performance from the judges' choice from tonight and all the other endurance events, as well as a couple of the viewer votes from across the endurance category. We are doing 6 endurance shows. We had one last night, we have one tomorrow, and we had a few last weekend as well. Please be warned, there is some strong language and adult themes in this show, including a monologue that mentions sexual assault. So yes, please, if you're sensitive to that, then be aware that that is upcoming. If you want to support the event, hit the like button, that helps us reach more people. Hit the subscribe button, that helps us reach you. There's a bunch of links in the description of this video, so you can sign up to our mailing list to get notifications for all of our other shows. Or you can grab some merchandise or even leave us a donation if you want to be super duper cool. I'm not saying you're not cool if you don't leave us a donation, but you know. What else do I need to say? Probably not much really. I reckon it's time to hand over to our performers. I'm going to come back on at the end to talk more about voting and to publish the voting form. You cannot vote yet because the show has not started. But first, I'd like to play a little message from our global ambassador, actor Chen Tang, and then I will hand directly over to the performers. So everybody, I hope that you enjoy Endurance Sydney.
Hello, and welcome to the 2nd season of the World Monologue Games. I'm Chen Tang, the global ambassador for the event. Now sit back, relax, get comfortable, and let the live stream regional finalists give you one hell of a show. Enjoy!
I don't know how it started. Where are you going? Okay, no, you can't just leave. You can't just leave me in here. Fine! I know how it started. I know how it started. I just don't know how it got so out of control. Fine. It all started when me and a friend went out jean shopping. And she said to me, "You're so small on the top and then you just round out. You're so strange and misproportioned." That's the word she used, misproportioned. So after that, I decided I was going to lose the weight. I worked out before school. I worked out after school. I worked out every weekend and I only lost 1 kilo. Well, then I decided I was going to start skipping meals. And to be honest, not eating breakfast is not really a big deal. A lot of people do it. But then that wasn't working. So I started to skip lunch. And then that wasn't working. So I decided I was going to have a really small meal for dinner. Or just eat nothing at all, because otherwise I wasn't going to see a difference. You know, three months. 3 months of not eating my fucking meals. And I looked in the mirror and I looked thin. I looked thin. And you know what? People started to notice me. Guys actually thought that I was attractive. For the first time in my life, guys actually thought that I was pretty. They wanted to hang out with me. They wanted to ask me out. You wouldn't know anything about that, would you? Because you have been perfect your whole fucking life, haven't you? You haven't had to work for anything like this. Yeah. Then people started to notice and say things. People wanted to know why I was so thin. People wanted to know why I wasn't eating. So after a while, I just started eating again. And throwing it all up later. And that just led to my other method of weight control. And now I can't stop. I know what I'm doing is wrong. I know what I'm doing is fucked up. But look at me. Look at me now. I am finally pretty. I'm thin. You have no idea how good it feels just to walk into a shop and be able to try on whatever. Damn, guys, say that you're pretty. That you're thin. I just want to be liked. Is that really such a bad thing?
Hello? Are you there? Please, I need to talk to you. It's the anxiety. That fear. It's still coming on. Like a vicious tsunami. It steals the breath from my lungs and makes a sickening pit in my stomach. Everything goes blurry. It's like some kind of terrifying deja vu. I don't know what brings it on or what triggers it. I just know it's getting worse. Please, I need your help. The voices. They speak to me. Be quiet, they say. Don't let them hear you. Nobody knows you're here, they say. And I don't know where here is, but I know I don't want to be there, and I don't want to be quiet. I want to yell, I want to scream, but nothing comes out because I don't know what to say, because I don't know what's going on. And then it happens. I turn into someone else. Someone else entirely. I feel strong, but powerless, reckless and out of control, confused. Pain. Pain is the answer. Whether I inflict it upon myself or somebody else, it doesn't matter. It's the only way. The only way to block out the voices and the demons. The only way that I can pretend to be normal, not be afraid. Even if it is just temporary. You've always told me that. But now, I've gone and I've done something. Something I thought that I could never do. The voices, they were just too loud that day. And I tried, I really did. I dug my nails into my skin as I made a fist and I pounded it against the brick wall over and over again, but it wasn't enough. I begged them, stop it! Stop it! What do you want from me? I pleaded with them, but they weren't listening. I kept waiting for you. I kept waiting for you to come, for you to tell me that the pain was enough and that I could stop, but you never came. You abandoned me. And then she came, and she spoke to me. She gave me a name. Although it was familiar, I didn't recognize her voice, but it was louder than the others. And this gave me courage and hope, so I did what she said. I hurt someone, and not just a little bit, not like before, not a fight. You don't understand. I couldn't stop until she told me to stop. It was necessary. And now oh God. I killed him. I killed him. At first, the feeling of relief, it was incredible. She said that I had done what needed to be done and that the voices, they wouldn't bother me anymore. And then she left. But now they're back, more present and louder than ever. And you're gone. And she lied to me, and I hate her for that, but she's the only one that can help me block them out. And I've gone and I've done things, and it's gone too far. And now the people, they want to know why I am the way I am and why I do the things I do. They don't understand. It's not my fault. They want answers, but I don't know what to say to them. You're the only one that could explain it. Speak to me. Speak to me. God damn it, I know you're there. I can feel you. I need you. I'm all alone. They've put me in here and they've drugged me. And now, even she's gone. And I have no one to help me fight the demons. They torture me every day. They consume me. Be quiet, they said. Be quiet. Be quiet.
Oh, I've never liked people. I like dogs. With dogs, as indeed with people, my advice is to be unsentimental. My family have owned farms for a long time. They all have dogs, and all dogs work. Gerald, my husband, was more of a cat. You know, husbands really are like cats. They get under your feet, they lounge around all the time, they mew at you constantly for food, and they present their bits at you inappropriately. You really want them to go outside, but you're worried that they might come into contact with some germ-infested bird. Gerald was always trying to get me to do things with him, like matching his and hers aprons for us to wear, baking the latest Pinterest craze, brewing his own fizzy hops, and building a fort out of soggy newspaper and wood glue. He was quite proud of that, until I unveiled my papier-mâché sculptures of the 7 wonders of the world. To scale. After that, he wanted me to be his assistant when he tried to learn magic. I know. He was always popping up behind me and making things disappear, like my sanity. "Play with me," he'd say. "Play with me, Figgy. I want to make you disappear." I did not find that in the least bit magical. I've always been able to make Gerald disappear. I simply need to say the 3 magic words. Go away, Gerald. Poof! One day, Gerald suggested, Figgy, for week I want a quoth." I pictured us among the masses, an oozing stream of the great unwashed, who swarm Circular Quay like maggots, devouring the carcass of a kangaroo, thinking that rancid floral fabrics and elasticated shorts were the height of luxury. Gerald, do you have some sort of sick fantasy you've never told me about of being imprisoned in a giant floating menagerie? Well, no. I was thinking of a smaller boat on the harbour. Would that help us, do you think, if we go on a nautical jaunt? This time my thoughts turned to the yachting holidays my family and I used to take in the Whit Sundays. A month of sailing, fresh ocean air, physical exertion. And that view of rippling man muscles exerting themselves while I read. Barclay dominated our 50-foot super yacht, a firm hand on her tiller. He loved hoisting a spinnaker and a swell, and he was so good at hoisting. Oh, how I savoured his performance, watching those sails going up and up and up. Berkeley? Oh, who is Berkeley, you ask? Well, Berkeley Thackeray. My childhood sweetheart, my one true love. Berkeley was a great big bull-mastiff god of a man. Compared to Berkeley, Gerald, well, he never quite measured up. Packing my suitcase for the trip reminded me of being sent away to boarding school as a child. There was some bullying, but I don't regret it. I did regret looking up, however, to see Gerald standing in the hallway of our apartment, wearing a wetsuit, lashings of fluoro zinc, and holding a little paddle, because it dawned on me that Gerald had hired a canoe. Oh, Berkeley would never have hired a canoe. He'd have had one made, especially, or else it just would not have fit. You know, I cannot remember a time when I didn't know Berkeley. He loomed large in my youth. In every picture of family events, there he would be. Mount Berkeley, as Daddy used to say. Not inaccurately. Figgy! Yes, Gerald. As I reluctantly returned to reality, Gerald, perversely, seemed overjoyed. He was now jumping about the bed like a young child at a birthday party jacked up on sugar. I was just about to tell him that an accident was imminent when he bounced too high, hit his head on the ceiling and fell on the floor. Looking at Gerald beneath me reminded me of how we'd met. University theatricals. I was starring as Desdemona in a production of Othello. I was writhing around on the bed when Gerald, who was third spear carrier or something or other, he made the entrance, he missed from the scene before, tripped over the sheets, lost control, and his tip fell off. I glanced up from the bed to see Gerald sprawled splat on the boards, looking similarly bewildered to how he did now. It was in that moment that I realised just how much I so loved the stage. Oh, Berkeley did not like to come to the theatre, though. I think the idea of adults still playing dress-ups and the gender ambiguity of men in makeup made him uncomfortable. He always was, very old-fashioned. Berkeley and I were due to get married. He was on his bachelor party in the Northern Territory. They were fishing when it happened. It was so sudden there wasn't time to... It took the largest crocodile that Darwin had ever seen to eat my Berkeley. When they cut him out of the stomach, he looked perfect, except for the fact that he was dead. The funeral was spectacular. He was buried in the family winery in the Hunter. After the service, I requested that the family keep a space for me, the plot of earth directly above Berkeley, to be exact. I will spend eternity with Berkeley, like the white chocolate melting over an enormous red velvet and caramel mud cake. And our vines will grow together forever. Figgy! What, Gerald? It was at the funeral that Gerald proposed. I told him that he should not be so pathetic, but little Gerald just kept at me, and so more to shut him up than anything, I agreed. Mummy and Daddy just slotted Gerald into the wedding they already had planned. It's all a bit of a blur, really. Much like trying to see through the fog out on the harbour in the canoe. The weather had taken a turn for the worst, and Gerald was being tossed about, which he normally didn't mind, but he was starting to look quite green. He suggested that he should get out and swim for help. I tried to talk him out of it, but he insisted, and awkwardly positioned himself over the side. You know, Gerald and I never did manage to consummate the relationship. Not properly. That was Gerald for you. Forever overexcited. And into the water he went. Plop! I managed, of course, to manoeuvre the canoe back to the dock, effortlessly. I made my own way back to the apartment and let myself in. When Gerald was still not there in the morning, I was relieved. It was the first time in my life that I had ever been on my own. Over the next few days I stayed alone, and I slowly began to enjoy myself. I had a drink. I laughed. Oh, I read. I thought. I did nothing meaningful for days on end. I even danced. I befriended the TikTok. Oh, and then I discovered that there was a little theatre just down the road from my salon. Oh, I felt like I was home. Truly. No, they never did find Gerald's body. He still hasn't washed up. I may be after Gerald and post Barclay, but I will not be defined by them. This is my time, and tonight is my first night back in the theatre, the first time in forever. I may have a non-speaking part, but I've appointed myself as understudy to the lead. She's not exactly pulling her weight. I know all her lines, and I'm just waiting. I must see if there's something I can do to encourage her. Oops! Oh, thespians are like dogs. Doesn't pay to be too sentimental. Can you hear that? They're always like, Figgy, Fig Tree St. Clements, stop talking in the wings and get on stage. I have to go. They can't cope without me. Ta-ta!
Do you mind if I join you? It's just that this customer wants this shit packed and there's no room at the counter. Are you sure? Thanks. Got any plans for the weekend? It's supposed to be good weather, yeah. Oh, which new restaurant? Ooh, I've heard good things. But it's super hard to get a booking though, right? Lucky Luke. You must be so impressed. Oh, me? Nothing much, just my chemistry assignment. That's okay. Chemistry's kind of my thing, so it's fine. Hey, can I ask you something? It's kind of a personal question and you don't have to answer it or anything. It's just, well, I know that we're not really the same age or anything and you must think that I'm such a little kid. It's just, I don't have anyone else to ask and I just really need to know. Are you sure? Because I feel as though I'm asking a lot right now and I don't want to make things awkward between us. Are you sure? Okay, well, so you and Luke, you've been together a long time, right? Like you've known each other for ages. Right, so my question is, God, I'm so stupid. Do you like it? I mean, do you like having sex? Is that too personal a question? I'm sorry, it's just, did you find it painful? I find it as painful as everyone said. We did it the other day. Oh, I'm not really sure. Anyway, it's done now. Yeah, I guess I was pretty worried. Kind of awkward the first time, right? I guess I was just nervous because, you know, you don't want to look like an idiot. laughing, but what did he do after that? Oh, and she still went out with him after that? Lucky I didn't have that problem. Joseph knew what he was doing. But, I'm sure it's just me. I probably just need some practice. It's just, I just don't think I knew what to expect. But, Joseph's a really nice guy, and he would never say anything bad or... Well, no, we didn't talk about it beforehand. Well, I just know that you're not meant to do anything to, ruin the mood, so I didn't... And I mean, Joseph's not really the talking type in these sorts of situations. He just sort of tends to show it. I guess it's just more comfortable that way. Because, when I look at me and Joseph and I, he's a much more sexual person. Probably not the right word. Yeah, I knew he was pretty keen. It all just happened so fast. 1 minute we were talking about a PlayStation and the next minute he's just, I was really worried that my parents were going to come home and find us, but by the time they got home, oh no. And you got caught? Oh. How much trouble did you get in? Oh, that's so bad. You poor thing. But no, we haven't really spoken since. Oh, we're not avoiding each other or anything. It's just preparing for this big football game he's got coming up, and you've seen my schedule. You know what I'm like. We've just got a lot going on. But, I'll see him tomorrow. We've got English together, so I'm sure I'll see him then. You know what? I can guarantee you that Joseph has not done his English homework. He always hands it in late, and he'll want me to help him with it. But, I'm sure it'll happen again. I mean, we're together, so I'm sure it'll happen. But, it'll get better, right? I just need some practice.
No, Mum, just stop, okay? Just stop saying that. I'll explain it. So, what happened was, we're in the same aisle as this kid, and he wanted these roll-ups, fruit roll-ups, and his mother was being a hard ass about it, saying that she wasn't going to buy them for him. And it wasn't because she couldn't afford it, because you could tell that she had money. The kid was getting whiny about it, which makes sense because he's 5 years old and he really wants these roll-ups. But the mother wouldn't give in. In fact, she starts ignoring him completely, just turns her face away and pretends he's not there. Just goes about her shopping like that's going to shut him up or teach him a lesson or something, case closed sort of thing. But that gets him even more upset. So that pissed me off for some reason, the way she was ignoring him. instead of, trying to explain to him why he couldn't have them. So I walked over to her. I don't know why, I just did. And I said, "It's only $3. Why don't you just get him the fucking roll-ups?" She looked a little miffed. And she explained to me that she didn't want her son eating candy. And I said to her, "Well, it's not actually candy. In fact, fruit roll-ups are relatively healthy. And they're made with real fruit. And why not just get him a treat?" Well, she told me to mind my own business, and then she tried to move her trolley around me, and she ran over my foot by accident. So I slapped her. Yeah, just slapped her. I know, it's awful. And then the little boy started to cry. I felt terrible. And she pissed me off. She was ignoring him. I just wanted to shake her. Like, look at him. Don't pretend he's not there. But I didn't say that. I just stood there, kind of startled. And she was kind of startled. And then Mum came over to me and told me to go out to the car, which I did not need her to do. So then Mum talks to her. She didn't understand, Mum, and I'm sure you just made it out like I was some crazy person, some unstable. She is lucky that is all I did, slapping her. Not that it helped. Not that she's going to suddenly realise. I mean, it was a fruit roll-up. Just let him have it. Am I wrong? I was doing well too, wasn't I, Howie? Had a bunch of good days in a row. I can't do the shopping anymore. Howie, everything there reminds me of him. Everything. Like the Milo, the Wheaties, the friggin' bananas, the mandarins, the apples, the bread. His bread. The frozen pizza. Just everything, the chocolate, everything. I can't do it anymore, Howie. It's too much. It's too much.
Hi everyone, my name is Leanne and I'm here today because my daughter, Grace, she's beautiful. The doctors said it was a miracle we both survived the pregnancy, let alone childbirth. To tell you the truth, I don't think I would even be here today if it wasn't for her. At this particular group therapy session, that is... You see, I have a very strange addiction. Some may find it laughable, but it is very real, and as I've come to finally realise, it's also quite life-threatening. It's really embarrassing, so I'm just going to say it. I am addicted to eating laundry powder. There. Why would obviously be your first question. That's absolutely insane, you would say, and I guess it is, but I'll try to explain the best way I can anyway. You see, I was always a lonely child. My mother was often out working and then partying. She was very young and inexperienced when she had me, and my father, well, she always told me he was a useless loser. She never even told me his name. Anyway, she passed away when I was 9. A drug overdose. It wasn't until after she actually died that I found out she had a sister. I had an aunt. So before I knew it, I was across the country living with my auntie and her husband. Or my uncle, as he liked to call himself. It's really scary at first. I was very young and didn't know where I fitted in this world. My aunt never really took to me. She was cold from the get-go. That never changed. My uncle, however, he seemed to warm to me immediately. Practically started calling me his daughter straight away. I'd never had a father before, so this filled me with unexplainable joy. I'd always yearned for the types of relationships that my friends had with their dads, but I never thought I could be someone's little princess, as they would call them. He would play with me, buy me gifts, protect me, and boast about my achievements with pride. I never felt so close to anyone before. I trusted and loved him completely with all my heart. Then, after about a year it happened. I was lying in bed, drifting off to sleep, when he snuck into my room and sat on the bed next to me where he would usually sit and read me stories. "So you'll be in the double digits soon," he said. My 10th birthday was coming up, and I was so excited to celebrate my first birthday with my father. "You know, you're very special to me," he whispered. "More special than anyone." "Am I special too?" he asked. I remember jumping into his arms elated, of course. And then, that's when everything changed and I became tainted. His hands started moving and touching me in places I knew they weren't meant to. I never felt so confused. My heart started pounding and it was hard to breathe. When I asked him what he was doing, he just shushed me, and when I started to cry, he laid me down and told me that I was going to have to start to accept our new relationship and that telling people would get me into trouble. I would often try to tell him how uncomfortable I was and ask him to stop. However, he would just rebut by telling me how much he had done for me and that he couldn't help it. That it was my fault he loved me this way. And guilt me into going further and further until... Well, I don't think I need to elaborate. As years went by, he grew more and more distant towards me as a father figure, and I wasn't his daughter to him too anymore, just his dirty, shameful secret. After each time, I would jump into the shower and scrub until I bled in an attempt to remove all the smells, fingerprints, and skin molecules that may have been left behind, but it was never enough. I still felt filthy inside, just a mass of mold, bacteria, and maggots constantly festering on all the garbage that I thought were my sins, and I I no longer wanted to play outside in the sun like other kids. I only felt worthy of the dark. I spent most of my time doing housework and attempts to please and become closer to my aunt, so maybe one day I might feel comfortable enough to tell her. One day when I was scrubbing the blood from my underwear after a particularly violent encounter the night before, I noticed how clean they came out, and that was it. Some insane thoughts sparked in my mind, and I took that first mouthful that would define so much of my life from there on after. The taste is jarringly tangy. Taste buds instantly tighten and you crave moisture, but it dries your mouth out so much that it's impossible to produce enough to achieve any kind of relief. Your nostrils flare and your eyes squint in water as the now greeny, gluggy substance tears its way down your burning throat, heating your chest up like a furnace until eventually it makes its way to your belly. Your stomach instantly turns and it is excruciating and punishing. As far as I was concerned, in that moment I needed to be punished. I needed salvation and I needed to be cleansed. And feeling that particular pain feels like the only way to do it. My uncle died when I was 16. But by then it was too late. The damage was already done and I couldn't stop. I didn't care about all the harm I was doing. Some years later, due to a one-night stand, I fell pregnant and fessed up to the doctors about what I was doing, and they told me I was putting my baby's life in danger. It was a grueling pregnancy, and even then I slipped up a few times. It wasn't until I almost died of kidney failure during childbirth that I finally came to a miraculous realization that someone who I thought would only ever be a stain on this world, created an angel. As I looked into those innocent eyes, I knew I could never risk leaving her alone in this world. That I would always love, cherish, and protect her. I have a purpose in this world. And that she, my daughter Gracie, is my salvation. That's why I'm here today. To get better for her and eventually for myself. Because I'm worth it.
So we are all agreed? Sibylla's suggested production of her feminist drama Women's Problems is rejected, based on the subject matter and her rather gratuitous and frequent use of the word gusset. Yes, Barbara. No, I don't think we should ask her to polish and resubmit. The basic upshot is 2 hours wailing about cracked nipples and cystitis. Just isn't entertaining. Agreed? Jolly good. I'll have a chat to her next week and see if she'd be interested in having a crack at a Jane Austen adaptation or something by Ayckbourn instead. Now, moving on. Yes, Barbara, what is it? Yes, Barbara, I'm well aware of that. I have been president for 4 years. I'm sorry? Oh, 3 years and 10 months then. It's a shame you don't have quite the same eye for balancing the petty cash. Well, I'm sorry if you find that offensive, Barbara, but 2 packets of shortbread fingers have still to be accounted for, do they not? Yes, well. Now, moving on. As mentioned earlier, Cinderella did extremely well for us this year, so congratulations all round. But, Doris, next year, look, I must insist that you find Prince Charming a longer tunic or more supportive underwear. It really was most distracting. Yes, well, you are wardrobe, Doris. If it's not your job to minimise the prominence of Prince Charming's tackle, then whose is it? Not that noticeable. I was expecting to see it given a separate billing in the programme. No, it's not a criticism, Doris. It's constructive feedback. Feedback is the lifeblood of theatre, Doris. Otherwise, how would you find out where you went wrong? I'm sorry, Barbara? Yes, there is a difference between feedback and criticism. No, not according to me, according to the dictionary. Would you like me to lend you a copy so that you can check? Oh, really, Barbara? I don't think the position of treasurer is best suited by unnecessary sarcasm, do you? Barbara, how many times do I have to remind you? If you wish to address the committee, you need to request permission through the chair. Oh, permission denied. Denied, Barbara. Oh. Now, moving on to the final item on the agenda, the paper clips. As discussed at our last meeting, now that our monthly newsletter has extended to 2 sheets of A4, we need to decide on the best option for binding the 2 sheets of paper together. After much persuasion from Doris, thank you, Doris, we voted against staples due to the risk of fingertip injuries and the possibility of legal repercussions from said injuries. Therefore, I am leaning towards paperclips as our preferred option. Yes, Barbara. Yes, I know you were all there. I seem to remember you interrupting then, as I recall. Now, you will see that I have provided each one of you with 2 sheets of A4 and some paperclip samples. So we have the choice of plastic coated or chrome. Yes, Barbara. I don't know whether it's made with recycled plastic, Barbara. It doesn't say on the box. Oh, yes, I know. Recycling is very important for the environment, Barbara. Oh, really? Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you the one who voted against getting 2 cups of tea out of the 1 tea bag for the interval refreshments? Yes, well, it's all very well talking the talk, Barbara. Do you walk the walk and practice what you preach? Now, personally, I am leaning towards plastic, as they do appear to be more durable. Yes, Barbara. You prefer the chrome. Well, there's a surprise. Perhaps we should have a vote on this one. All those in favour of the plastic? That's 5 for the plastic. All those in favour of the chrome? That is 1 for the chrome. Oh, plastic it is. Democracy in action, Barbara. You can't argue with that. And now that we've decided on the type, we need to decide on the colour. We could buy them in boxes of 100 assorted. However, I am a little concerned that not all the colours will match the sky paper that we're going to be using for our monthly newsletters. Yes, Barbara. Sky is light blue. That's why it doesn't say light blue on the packet, Barbara. It says sky. And I believe if a manufacturer has come up with a more interesting name than light blue, then the least we can do is have the courtesy to use it. No, it's not a matter of suiting myself. It's a matter of giving things their proper title. I mean, how would you like it? Instead of calling you treasurer, people refer to you as that woman who looks after the petty cash. You wouldn't care. Well, I think that says more about you, Barbara, than you care to realise. There's no need to mutter, Barbara. If you've got something to say, you'll need to request permission through the chair. Denied. Yes, Jim. Yes, Jim, that's a valid point. The paper clips do come in a blue, Jim. However, it's not a light blue, but I think that might contrast quite nicely. Yes, Barbara. Oh, were you not listening when we covered off on this point earlier? Jim prints off the monthly newsletters. How many did you print off each month, Jim? 27. There you go, Barbara. 27. Perhaps you'd like to make a little note of it somewhere so you don't have to ask again. You've only asked twice. Well, I don't think that hand gesture generally indicates the number 2, as I'm sure you are well aware. Yes, Doris? No, Doris, I don't think we'll get rid of the sky paper anytime soon. We've got 44 reams of it left. Yes, Jim. Well, I didn't order 44 reams, Jim. I believe that you'll find that the treasurer was responsible for the paper order. Yes, Barbara, look, we know it was a mistake. We know that the 4 on your keyboard is dodgy and you didn't notice. You made that perfectly clear at the last meeting. I am not implying anything, Barbara. I am just saying a mistake was made with the paper order. I'm not accusing you of anything, Barbara. Look, did you make the paper order? Yes, you did. And was a mistake made with the paper order? Yes, it was. Ergo, you made a mistake. Look, I'm sorry, Barbara, but despite your refusal to admit that you made a mistake, it is a plain fact. Look, there's no need to be so defensive. No. It's not criticism, it's feedback. What on earth does the shortbread have to do with the paper order? I did not accuse you of stealing the shortbread, Barbara. Really, you are making me out to be some kind of monster who's out to get you. All I said was, must you rummage in your handbag when you're addressing the committee? It is very distracting and rather rude. It's a perfect example why you didn't get to play the role of Cinderella in the latest panto. You are simply not a team player. And there's no need to wave things at me, Barbara. Barbara? What is that? Barbara? Is that a bat? Barbara?
What you wanna be, float your mind and listen to the bass, rocking to the ladies, you're so fortunate free.
Okay. Congratulations to the performers. That was Endurance Sydney. So now a couple of things. You guys get to vote. The viewers have 48 hours from the end of the show to pick their 2 favourite performers. And we will be putting some of the viewer votees, viewer winners, something like that, words and stuff, through to the global finals along with the judges' choices. You need to have an account to vote, but it is free and all that. You won't get spammed unless you choose to opt into the mailing list, so don't worry about that. And just a friendly reminder to the performers not to share the link to the voting form, share a link to the show. So I am just saving a change to the description of this video. If you're watching live, just hit the refresh button and you'll get the link down there in the description. If you're watching later, it should already be there and you can jump over and vote. Just a couple of shout outs. Shout out to Nyakachana and Arts Business Academy for their generous donations of prize money. You guys rock. And if you would like to get involved with World Monologue Games, we would love to have you register as a fan if you want to get notifications of our shows, or register as an actor for next year already. Regos are open. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the show, or subscribe if you want to get notifications for this channel. We do have another show tomorrow evening, Sydney time, 7 p.m. It's Endurance United Kingdom. So check that out. Otherwise, that's probably about it. Next week we have the Tigers category, the under 12s, and then we have youth the following weekend, and then we have the main professional category for the next 2 weekends. But the schedule is on the website because you probably won't remember what I just said. All right, guys, I'm yabbering on, so I'm going to say good night. Thanks for watching. Congrats again to the performers. Fabulous show. Really great stuff. Okay, see you later. Bye.